Welcome to the Big Assembly. This is National Apprenticeship Week, and this is brought to you by the Young Apprenticeship Ambassadors. They will be there to tell you their stories and to answer any questions that you have. This is being watched by thousands of young people across the country, well over 40,000. And what we want you to do is to find out all about apprenticeships and the amazing opportunities that they offer. Do have a look at our advertising campaign, hear some of the case stories, the Fire It Up campaign, and go to www.apprenticeships.gov.uk to find out more. Enjoy the week, and at the end of it, you will know all the things that are on offer for you out there.
Good morning, welcome to the Big Assembly 2019, coming to you this year from the Cedars Academy in Leicestershire. Oh, it is super exciting to be joining you once again, and even more exciting because I'm joined by Chantal, who was on the Big Assembly last year.
I was indeed, and it's a pleasure to be standing here with you today, Rob, and also a massive thank you to the Cedars Academy for having me. So my name is Chantal and I work for Travis Perkins. I was a management apprentice, but now I'm mentoring the apprentices.
Brilliant. And for those of you who don't know, good morning, I'm Rob Rose. I was a BBC digital journalist apprentice, and now I have a job at BBC Radio Sheffield, something I have always wanted as a kid. And it just feels amazing. It feels like I never have to work again, because when you do something you love, and hopefully this morning you'll find something that you love through an apprenticeship and be like us as well. Now, just before we start, it's very important that we say a very big thank you to the creators of the Big Assembly. We've got WorkPays, Get My First Job, and the East Midlands Ambassador Apprenticeship Network. Without them, we wouldn't be stood here today telling you about how amazing apprenticeships are. Now, if you're not aware, it's National Apprenticeship Week, a week dedicated to telling you all about apprenticeships. And today, we've got members of the Young Apprentice Ambassador Network scattered around the Cedars Academy this morning who are going to share their journey with you.
Yes, and now if you are watching online today, please don't forget to use the chat facility on the screen next to the video player. This will allow all your questions to come through to us and the Yans about any questions you may have about apprenticeships. Also, if you're watching at home with family or friends or even the school, please upload a picture of yourselves using the hashtag BigAssembly19. Now, what are we waiting for?
What are we waiting for?
I think it's time to go to our first two Yans this morning, Neelash and Annie, who are down the corridor with some Year 11s we've got. So over to you guys. Good morning.
Morning.
Thanks, Rob and Chantal. We're here with the Year 11s in the computer room at the Cedars Academy Sixth Form Centre to talk about apprenticeships and the application process involved.
Okay, good morning everyone. Really good to see you. How are we doing this morning? So, my name's Neelash Champaneri. I'm an electrician for a company called Derby Homes, and I'm also part of the Young Apprentice Ambassador Network. So just a little bit about me and what is it that I do. I'm 23 years old. I'm from a town called Castle Donington, not too far from here, and I trained as an electrician during my apprenticeship. So I work for a company called Derby Homes, and we work in partnership with Derby City Council to help to repair and maintain almost 13,500 houses all around the city of Derby. And so I've been with my company for about 4.5 years now, and that's including my 3.5-year apprenticeship. So, some of you out there might be looking into doing an apprenticeship, or you've not actually thought of doing one before, and you might be a bit confused as to where actually to start to look for one. So for me, actually, I found my apprenticeship vacancy on the Find an Apprenticeship website. So if you go to gov.uk and go to Find an Apprenticeship, there you can see all the apprenticeship vacancies that are listed, and these are nationwide. But obviously for where you are, you can search for the vacancies that are going to be around you. And in the keyword search, you can search for things that you're going to be interested in or you think that you'd enjoy doing your apprenticeship. Remember, there's thousands of vacancies on that website and they get updated every week. So if you haven't found something that you like, keep searching back. But like I said, that's where I actually found my apprenticeship vacancy listed. Also, apprenticeship open days are a really good opportunity to get in and meet potential employers. For me, I actually went to an apprenticeship open day at my local college, and I got a chance to meet my future employer and actually find out a bit more about my apprenticeship and what I would be doing, the course that it would entail, what was actually expected of me. So if you get a chance to go out there and meet future employers, then that's a really good opportunity as well. Now, when I was considering what type of apprenticeship I actually wanted to do, there's so many out there and it can be quite confusing to look through the list and think, really, is that something I'm going to enjoy? But also you've got to take into consideration, okay, who you are as a person. What is it that you enjoy? What's your strengths? What's your weaknesses? For me, I actually had to look at the type of grades that were required for the type of course I was doing. It involved a lot of maths, physics and science. So obviously most employers will be looking for basic English and maths for a course, for an apprenticeship. So these are all things to take into consideration when you're out there looking for different vacancies. So ultimately, why did I actually choose to do an apprenticeship? Well, after I actually left school, after year 11, I kept my options open. There might be a few in the room who enjoy cooking. I actually love to cook, love watching my chef and all that sort of stuff. And I actually dreamt of being a professional chef. So once I left school, I actually started working in a kitchen, helping out the chefs, training on different types of food. At the same time, I was actually quite interested in doing something practical as well. So I was studying electrical at college. Now, after working in a kitchen for a few years, I found that, working in that type of environment, it's just not for me. So that's why I ultimately chose to get qualified in electrical. And the best way to do that for me was doing an apprenticeship. So I definitely kept my options open. For me, I really wanted practical skills and a real wage, because I love doing things with my hand, but I also love a bit of problem solving and fault finding and things like that. And I knew that's the type of things that would be involved in my apprenticeship. So when you're out there looking for the different vacancies and different jobs that you're going to be looking for, all these different apprenticeships are out there. So just look at what is right for you. University isn't for everyone, but if you are looking at doing university, have you maybe considered doing a higher or a degree apprenticeship where you can do an apprenticeship and do a degree at the same time? So the application process can be quite nervous for quite a few. It might be the first time you're doing like a formal interview and you might not sure where to begin. For me, it was actually a 3-step process that I had to go through. So the first step was an initial assessment. So that's usually done at a college or a training provider. So I was invited in for like a short interview, had to do some assessments in maths, English, ICT, that sort of thing. Then I was invited for my formal interview at the company. So that was actually done like in a speed dating style. It was a bit different to like a normal interview, but that was my formal interview. And then remember, out there, it can be quite competitive. So I was actually invited back for a second interview, and this is part of a team building day. Because remember, employers are really interested in, okay, who you are as a person, what is it that you can bring to the company. But working together as a team is really important. So can you be a team leader, but also can you be a team player? Now, like I mentioned, it might be the first time some of you guys are going for a proper interview, and you might be really nervous. What's my advice to you guys? Practice, practice, practice. Because it's really true that actually practice does make perfect. So when you go for your interview, make sure you do your research. Do your research on the company. You could search for things like how long they've been in business, what industry they're in, how many employees they have. Employees really appreciate it. When you do a bit of research on them, you're interested in them. And also, when I went for my interview, right, I saw guys turning up in tracksuits, they were wearing hoodies, and I was like, really? When you go for an interview, dress to impress. Show the interviewer that you're there to take that apprenticeship, that job, seriously. Ultimately, you're there to enjoy your apprenticeship, and as working as a team, you want to have fun as well. So when you're looking for things, looking for something that you enjoy, something that you really want to learn, but also something that you're going to have fun doing as well. Okay, that's all from us here, guys. We'll see you guys back at the auditorium later. Thanks, everyone. Okay, now back to you, Rob and Chantel.
Perfect. Thank you, you two. They're going to be joining us very shortly because everyone's been getting in touch on the chat facility, and we're going to have a live question and answer session very shortly. Just quickly, though, just looking at that VT, it just reminds me of when I was applying for an apprenticeship, and I found mine through Twitter. And there's lots of different avenues you can go down, isn't there? I remember the first time I did it, I didn't get it, and I was absolutely devastated. But it kind of just makes you a bit more fired up to do it again. And then the second time I got it, how about you?
Yeah, for me, actually, it was like what Nilesh explained. So for me, really, the first thing I did was found it on the Travis Perkins website, where I uploaded my most recent CV. I then had a phone interview, which then led to about 2 to 3 face-to-face interviews. So a very organised process, but it actually taught me and gave me the experience of what an interview should be like. So it led me to where I am today.
Absolutely, and I believe we've got 2 more Jans just around the corner. By the way, we say Jans, it's short for Young Apprentice Ambassador Network, just because it's a bit of a mouthful.
Yes,
they're around the corner. I think it's Amelia and Elliot with some sixth form students. Good morning.
Hi everyone, we're really excited to be here to show everyone what a working week looks like for us. We're also here with the sixth form students from PT1.
So good morning all, my name is Elliot Bosch, I'm a trainee quantity surveyor and I work for a company called InSurf Construction. I've worked at InSurf for the last 3.5 years and where I started as a construction technical apprentice. After my 2-year level 3 advanced apprenticeship, I started a degree apprenticeship in quantity surveying and commercial management and studying on a day release basis at Nottingham Trent University. So I'm going to talk to you about on the programme and what I do during my apprenticeship. So during my apprenticeship, every day is different. I'm working with different people in different environments, and ultimately the roles and responsibilities that I have vary on a daily basis. So learning and applying. Ultimately, I go to university 1 day a week, and I'm also working 4 days a week. So whilst I'm learning in the classroom at university, I can apply this at work. But during my apprenticeship, I found that I can also learn in the workplace when I'm on construction sites. I'm working in different offices and I can apply them in the university, so it works sort of both ways to get the best of both worlds. So as an apprentice, you get equal employment benefits, so this includes things like pensions, holiday pay, private medical insurance, all the things that you get as sort of a non-apprentice as such, you get as an apprentice. So ultimately, what does my employer expect from me? They expect me to work hard, be enthusiastic, and have the ability to work as part of a team. I find this really important in construction in particular because in construction we have teams and projects. As for myself as a quantity surveyor, I work alongside project managers, site managers, and as a team we need to make sure we work together in order for projects to be successful. Another point is they will expect me to be able to work alone because as a quantity surveyor I have different responsibilities to, for example, a project manager, but we need to work together, so it's important I can work as part of a team but also alone. So my bit of advice to you today would be to go above and beyond in everything that you do. For example, if you put the most 110% effort into your apprenticeship, you can get a lot out of it, and ultimately going forward you can be very successful in whichever area you choose to pursue a career in. So I spoke a bit about sort of what I do as an overall, but I wanted to talk to you a bit more about quantity surveying as a whole, as I'm not too sure if anyone knows anything about it. So I want to talk about my current roles and responsibilities. So ultimately, a quantity surveyor is responsible for commercially managing construction projects. They're looking at time, cost and quality because they have 3 very important aspects. So you've got to make sure a project is completed on time, within budget and to a high quality. Preparing, monitoring and updating cost reports is something that we do on a daily basis in order to achieve the above and to make sure that projects can be completed successfully. Another element of quantity surveying is procurement. There are a lot of trades and a lot of works that are involved with construction projects, and procuring subcontractors is a big part of this. The final point I'd like to make today is liaising with clients. You're sort of liaising with a lot of different people, whether it be sort of directors, subcontractors, sort of other quantity surveyors, other project managers, or even when I'm being a Jan, I can be dealing with people like yourself or other ambassadors. There's a lot of different people that you sort of speak to on a daily basis, and this is just another part of my role. It's been great to meet the sixth form students today. Thank you everyone for your time. Now back to Rob and Chantel in the studio.
Thanks for that, Elliot. Really interesting, I found, actually. And we'll have himself and Amelia back here shortly for the live Q&A. Don't forget, as I said, those watching online, please use the chat facility next to the video player to put your questions through to us. And a massive thank you to those who have already put those questions through, but don't forget, you still have time before the end of the programme.
Absolutely. Just like Griffin School, a big shout out to
Yes.
you. They've been getting in touch through the chat facility and on Twitter. Don't forget, #BigAssembly19 is the way you can get in touch. Quite interesting to see them talking about their experience in an apprenticeship. You know, many people don't realise that an apprenticeship is a job. So along with the job, you get responsibilities.
Of course.
My first day was sent out to cover a story. I was told if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter, but get thrown in the deep end because that's what you're here to do.
Yeah, and exactly what you've just said. I mean, with myself and Travis Perkins, I was thrown straight into the deep end, but I learned quicker that way and I really appreciated it. My days could be anything from being in the yard and operating the forklifts, to going outside and doing a customer brick match, to just dealing with general customer inquiries. But at the end of the day, I got the experience that I need, and as I said earlier, I'm here now.
Right, let's meet our final pair of Jans, Simeon and Emma. I think they've taken over a Year 10 math class. I'd rather do this than maths.
Yeah, definitely.
So, hi everyone. As Rob and Chantel have said, we're here at the Cedars Academy in our Year 10 students class, taking over their maths class to talk about apprenticeship programmes and what kind of great career prospects that they have. Just a quick show of hands. How many of you knew that you could do an apprenticeship in accountancy? Right, and that's quite, to me, that's quite poor because when I was at school, I was not told about apprenticeships at all, and my chosen career was accountancy. But I didn't know that you could go down either route. I didn't know that you could go down the apprenticeship route, or I didn't know that you could go down the university route. So after I chose to do an apprenticeship in accountancy, had some fantastic experiences, and it led me to have a full-fledged career in accountancy. And once I finished my apprenticeship, my career prospects and promotion prospects increased significantly because I'd already been an employee working there. I'd already been, you know, earning a living. I'd already knew the systems. I'd already, you know, been part of this great team, been part of working in this, you know, fantastic company that's growing all the time. And as the company grows, I grow as well because my skills, you know, increased because I was already in there. So my promotion prospects grew significantly. And one of my key achievements that I did or going forward was my opportunities were greater as well. So after I finished my apprenticeship, once I qualified, I'm already in that place of work. I've already got those qualifications behind me and I already know the business inside out. So as I finished my apprenticeship, I stepped up into a more senior role, started getting paid more, which is nice, so that now I could go on holidays, like I could go to Ayia Napa without paying from the bank of mum and dad. I could, you know, go out with my friends, I could start buying a car, and significantly grew, you know, not only in responsibility, but in my wages as well. Because I've got to a stage now where I'm looking to buy my own house, which is pretty decent as considering when I started off as just an apprentice. And the biggest thing that it gave me was I grew personally and professionally, because yes, grades are great, but grades don't always showcase who you are as a person. They don't always showcase what kind of personality you have. They don't always showcase what commitment or drive that you have. You know, grades are important, but your personality and you as a person is just as important as well. And the key achievements that as I was kind of touched on was I earned significantly more. I was the youngest person to go on my management program at Motorpoint, which I would never have been on had I not started off as an apprentice when I walked in. And also, I'm part of the Young Apprentice Ambassador Network, which is this huge network of current and former apprentices who go out and promote apprenticeships in schools and businesses just like what we're doing today. And just a little bit of an insight into what we do. We go out into a school or business and our company rewards us for that. Our company, you know, gives us the time to be able to do that. And we volunteer and talk to people like yourselves just to be able to share what's out there, because typically, you know, you kind of hear what apprenticeships are about, or you kind of hear certain stories, but what better way to be able to know what apprenticeship's about from somebody that's gone on and done it. And one of the most rewarding things that we get to do as an apprentice ambassador is we get to go out and we get to have National Apprenticeship Awards, which is the most rewarding thing to be able to say, look, we champion apprenticeships. We are the ones who are kind of sharing how good they are, some of the good, the bad, the highs, the lows, we share it all and be able to develop ourselves in our careers. And that, to me, is one of the most rewarding things when we can share with people like yourselves, being able to say, look, this is the opportunity that we've had. Now it's time to share that with the likes of yourselves. And just to bring it home, if I could go back in time and tell myself anything that was when I was your age, I'd say just look at your options. And I'd say, you know, what's genuinely best for you. Thank you.
So that's the presentation from us. We'll see you guys on stage shortly for live questions and answers. Thank you to all the Year 10s and the maths teacher for letting us join you here today. Now back to Rob and Chantal. We'll see you guys shortly.
Thank you. I don't think I could have put that better myself than what Simeon said then. Right, so we've heard from all our Young Apprentice ambassadors this morning. They're going to make their way down to the studio for the next bit of the live Q&A. Hope they make it on time.
Yes,
if you've enjoyed their stories, you can find plenty more on the EMAN website. You can visit that by going to www.eman.org/meet apprentices. There's a couple on there, and there'll be some more coming over the next couple of days, so keep an eye on there.
So this is your chance right now to put through any questions that you may have to us and the Yans using the chat facility. As I said, please don't forget as well, if you are watching online, to upload a picture using the hashtag BigAssembly19. Also, a massive thank you to those who already put their questions through, and a special thank you to the Walton Liddale School for getting in touch. So thank you for watching, guys. Rob and I will be back in a few minutes, and we'll be joined by the Yans to go through to the live Q&A.
Excellent. I think I might put a picture of us on the hashtag Twitter.
Yeah,
BigAssembly19. See you shortly. You're all in it, by the way. Perfect. Home now.
Hi, Bosh, you're coming in.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great, thanks, but I'm still looking for the right apprenticeship. Wow, Jack, this place is amazing. How did you end up working here?
Just grab a coffee and I'll tell you all about it.
Great. So how did you get your apprenticeship here then?
So have you heard of the website, Find an Apprenticeship?
No.
So that was the starting point for me. I literally just Googled finding apprenticeships on my phone, and it was as easy as that.
Sounds easy enough, but how do you search for apprenticeships though?
So you start by creating an account, you'll get a verification email. Then on the website you can apply some filters where you can pinpoint the job that you like. It's like a job advert, so you can see the salary and what the employer expects of you while you're doing your apprenticeship.
So how do you apply for the jobs though?
So you can apply from the job page through an online application form, and that will be saved for any job vacancy, so you don't have to keep making a new one. But sometimes though, you may have to apply via the employer's recruitment page, so you'd have to keep an eye out for that.
Right, okay. So is that how you got your apprenticeship here?
Exactly. So after I applied, I had to do a telephone interview, an assessment day, and then a face-to-face interview, but it was all worth it. It all started on the Find an Apprenticeship website, where you could actually set up alerts. So I got a text when I got an apprenticeship that matched what I wanted. It's like having a recruitment agency 24/7 working for you, but the difference is they send you apprenticeship vacancies that you actually want to get out of bed for.
That's amazing that you got a text message from being matched with the site with a vacancy. I wish I'd known about this earlier, like when I was in school.
I think it's so important that parents and teachers look at the Find an Apprenticeship website. It's full of information on the employer, the vacancy, and what the job title means. I actually go into schools now to talk to teachers and students about the Find an Apprenticeship website.
I agree, but job hunting can be really difficult, Jack, and confusing.
But don't let that put you off. I almost ignored this job because I didn't think the job title was exciting. But after looking at the profile, it was just what I wanted to do. So I applied, and look at me now.
And look at you now.
So I had a lot of help to get my job. If you go on the Find an Apprenticeship website, you can find the contacts for their support team and the National Careers Service. They really know their stuff. They got me thinking about how to apply for my job. They even have apprenticeship vacancies in higher and degree level. You've got this, Portia.
Thanks, Jack. I'll get you a coffee at my new apprenticeship workplace next time.
Finding your apprenticeship couldn't be easier in 5 simple steps. Step 1. Search Find an Apprenticeship on gov.uk. Step 2. Create an account and set up your alerts. Step 3. Search for vacancies in your area. Step 4. Complete the online application form. Step 5. Manage your applications online. So what's stopping you? Search the Find an Apprenticeship website to find your apprenticeship today.
career and find out what an apprentice can do for your business. Search apprenticeships.
Welcome back to the Big Assembly 2019, coming to you live from the Cedars Academy in Leicestershire. Thank you so much for getting in touch. We've been inundated with questions. Please do keep them coming. We'll try and get through as many as we can, we promise.
Yes, and as you can see, we have now been joined by all of our wonderful Yans. And Rob, you've actually got another Yan we haven't met yet.
We've got an addition, Alicia. And perfect, we'll lead straight into you with a question here. So it is, this is from one of the audience members here at the Cedars Academy, so thank you very much for that. What has been the... sorry, I've just messed that up. Where are we? There we go. All right. What do you do as a young apprentice ambassador? So what do you do in that role?
Well, I've worked alongside these guys now for about a year or so. I've been to a few seminars in Birmingham and mainly all the way around East Midlands. But I kind of stick to career fair days, you know, around where I work mainly.
Brilliant. And we've got another audience question from Joseph, I believe. So thank you for that, Joseph. I'll ask you this one, Simeon. What has been the most memorable experience of your apprenticeship?
Oh, wow. I'd have to say graduation, because that was when it all became real. That was when you realised that all the hard work that you put in became worth it. And that's when, you know, Mum and Dad were able to see us with our cap and gowns on. It was a real proud moment for all of us.
You still get like a little bit of the university experience, but you've done an apprenticeship, don't you?
Exactly. Yeah, it was really worthwhile.
Brilliant.
Amazing. And our next question actually from the studio audience as well is from Annie. So Annie, sorry, to yourself, do you ever wish you had stayed in higher education instead and experienced university?
No, I'm definitely glad I did an apprenticeship. I did a degree apprenticeship, so it was actually fantastic that I got to go to university part-time alongside working full-time. So I got the best of both worlds, gaining qualifications and also industry experience.
Amazing.
Brilliant. Another question from the audience. Thank you to Lucy. Amelia, I'll ask you this question. What advice would you give to young people watching today who would like to be successful with the application process?
Definitely take your time. So when you're writing your application, don't rush it. Don't think, oh, I've got a spare 5 minutes, I'll do it now. And make sure that you can get a lot of your personality across as well to make you stand out. They're not just looking for your grades, they're looking for you as a person as well.
And just give us like 2 or 3 words that you should say we should all put on our application to make us stand out, maybe.
I always put in passionate and dedicated, because it's like, oh, I'm really passionate about this role, I really feel for this role, and dedication as well, because they want you to know that you're going to commit to it. They don't want you to think, oh, she'll come in and just do it.
Yes. I also want to just give a massive shout out to the Chads Academy who are watching us this morning. So hello to everyone there. And back to yourself, Rob.
I'll ask a couple of you this. We'll start with you, Emma. What do your friends say? What do your friends say about your apprenticeship? Are they envious that you get paid and you get to have work experience? What do they say?
I think they were envious because they weren't aware of the apprenticeships at the time, and obviously I got to be able to earn whilst I was learning, and also I didn't have the heavy burden of the student debt.
Alicia?
My friends, they were generally in apprenticeships themselves, but obviously you do get the few that have gone off to university but are now suffering with the debt as well at the end of it.
And Simon, quickly, the same question. What do your friends say?
Yeah, sure. So my friends were quite split half and half. So some went down the university route anyway, some went down the apprenticeship route, but ultimately we're all in really good positions and really full-fledged careers now, which is really good.
Great stuff.
That is amazing. I also want to ask Elliot a question now. So, Elliot, as an apprentice, do you find you get the tasks at work that no one else wants to do?
I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say I had to make a lot of tea and coffees during my time at work. But ultimately, I found from the start of my apprenticeship to where I am now, the roles and responsibilities that I've picked up and the tasks that I do are gradually getting more and more. And ultimately, overall, it's been a really good experience.
So just got a question through online from GSA. How long is a typical apprenticeship, Simeon? How long was you in your role for?
So I was in mine for 3 years. So working 4 days in a week, 9 till 5. And then 1 day a week I was studying at college.
So very similar to having a full-time job, because you are in a job, aren't you?
Absolutely. I got my weekends as well.
And we'll start with yourself, Elliot, as well. What reaction did you get from your friends and family when you told them that you were applying for an apprenticeship?
Both my friends and family were very supportive of me. It was actually my parents who sort of first get the idea of an apprenticeship. So I went and looked out there, saw what apprenticeships were about and what sort of industry. Chose just construction because that's what I was sort of interested in. But overall, my friends and family were all supportive of my decision.
Great. Annie, can I ask you the same question as well? So what reaction did you get from your friends and family?
Yeah, so most of my friends and family actually didn't know what an apprenticeship was, and it was great being able to explain to them, and it really gave them a different view on apprenticeships. My dad was very much pushing me into apprenticeships, and my mum was very much like taking me to all the university careers fairs, but I've definitely swayed her now, and with my younger siblings, she's definitely now very much led towards apprenticeships than pushing them into university.
Great, amazing. And Neelish?
So for me, actually, at first, a lot of my family were a bit confused because a lot of them have gone to university, but once I'd actually explained to them that I'd be getting on-the-job training, getting paid at the same time, getting real valuable experience, they were really behind me, and now it's a lot that my family have chosen to do apprenticeship as well.
I love that, that's great.
Got a great question here from Charlotte. Thank you, Charlotte, wherever you are. We'll start with you, Emma. I'm going to ask you all of this. What was it like going from being at school to suddenly being full-time job as an apprentice?
It was very different. It took a while to get adjusted to obviously working and learning full time. But once I found the work-life balance, it became much easier and it made my life a bit more structured, so I could really see where I was going in the future.
Same for you, Alicia?
I found it quite rewarding, really, being able to contribute towards, a big business and seeing the jobs progress and knowing that you're part of it. I felt it was more meaningful, really.
Excellent.
I didn't like school, so I really liked that, I'm in the workplace now, I'm treated like an adult with all the other people, and I found there was more flexibility in it as well for me. So it was less rigid, and I turn up to school at this point every day, and I'm at this lesson for this time. More it was, I'm able to manage myself now rather than other people managing me, which I really liked.
Brilliant. Finally, Simeon.
Yeah, sure. So I loved having the responsibility. So working 9 to 5 was, easy for me purely because I'm a natural early bird anyway. So getting up wasn't too bad, but it was nice to have the weekends as well. And then at the end of the month, being paid was a added bonus too.
Absolutely.
So really good.
Don't we all love getting paid? I want to give a massive shout out as well to the Trafford High School. So thank you so much, and please keep sending in your questions. Back to Rob.
Another great question here. What information was available to you about apprenticeships when you were in school? We'll stick with you, Simeon, and work our way back down the line.
Sure. So it wasn't actually very much at all, which is part of our role as ambassadors as well, to make sure that every young person has the opportunity to get that information. We did not have that. So we were even told to fill out our UCAS applications, even if we knew full well that we didn't want to go down the university route. So, yeah, very little information on apprenticeships.
We saw that earlier as well when you was in the classroom, didn't we? When you said, put your hands up if you knew that you could do, what was it, accountancy or something? Right. And I think 2 people put their hand up. So still not many people know what's available. We'll head down the line.
There was next to nothing available for me, and it wasn't until I was 19 that I realised I could go and do this, which was great because I didn't want to go to uni, I didn't want to go to sixth form, but I ended up going to sixth form anyway. But that's great for me now because post-apprenticeship I work for WorkPays, so I get to go, as an Ask Ambassador, I get to go into schools and do assemblies and workshops with students and make sure that they're aware of their options now, which is so rewarding for me.
Great. Alicia?
Yeah, same again, really. There was nothing really out there. I didn't know much about apprenticeships, only the typical, you're going to be on £2.50, £3 an hour, and that's not really what I wanted to do when I left school. So I stayed on for sixth form, got my A-levels, but then when the time came, wanted to further my education, so I took an apprenticeship. So
interesting. Yeah. Finally, Emma.
For me, yeah, there was very little information out there. I was very much pushed to go to sixth form. I didn't go to sixth form, I actually went to college. And whilst I was at college, that's when I found out you could do a degree apprenticeship. And then I signed up for that and have never looked back.
How did you find out?
A careers advisor at college approached me. So I already had a place at uni to study full time. And he came to me and says, Emma, did you know you can do a degree apprenticeship? I said, no. So I looked into it, applied and joined. And I've since completed my degree as well. So
everyone took a load and you got paid to do a degree.
I did.
Amazing. I just want to go to our final question now. So we'll start with yourself, Elliot. What advice would you give any young person who might be thinking about being an apprentice in the future? I love that one.
Well, for me, I knew what sort of industry I wanted to go into, which was construction, as I mentioned previously. But if you're not sure of what industry or what job you want to do and whether an apprenticeship is for you, I'd recommend going onto the Gov website, looking into what apprenticeships you can do, what industries there are, and then what jobs you can do sort of in the future.
Amazing. Annie?
So I definitely recommend not just picking your favourite subject at school and pursuing that into university, not knowing where you want to go. It's a really difficult time at this age, not knowing kind of what your dream job is. Looking on the gov.uk website that Elliot mentioned is a great way to, you can read a couple of hundred words on each kind of apprenticeship available and to see if that's something that you can see yourself doing in the future.
Yeah, as you said earlier, there's an amazing amount of apprenticeships out there, so it just depends which one you want to go for.
For me personally, I would say don't just follow the crowd. Don't just go to university because all your friends are going there, but obviously just explore all your options and choose something that you're interested in. And if an apprenticeship can get you qualified in that, definitely just go for it.
Yes.
A brilliant question. I'm going to ask it, and we're going to go back down the line, starting with you, Emma. Just a reminder, what advice would you give to any young person thinking about being an apprentice in the future?
I'd definitely consider it as one of your options. It is a good, viable option. I'd say research, see what's out there. Look on the apprenticeship website, see what's out there. Look at each thing, see what you'll be up to, see what you'll be doing, see if it really fits what you feel you want to do in the future.
Brilliant, Alicia.
Yeah, basically echoing everyone else. Take your time, don't rush, and I just think apprenticeships are definitely the way forward in the future.
Exactly the same as everyone else. Know your options, do your research, find what puts fire in your belly, because you'll see it. When you see that one advert, you'll see it and you'll think, oh my God, that's me. And then you'll go for it. Don't follow the money either, because that will come later when you're doing what you love.
And I would just say, yeah, genuinely assess your options, genuinely assess what you could do for a long time, and have a think about where you're going to be in the next few years, even if you don't necessarily know what you want to do leaving school. Purely because if I'm a parent and I'm looking at what I want best for my child, ultimately I want them to have choices, and an apprenticeship has given me that very thing. So it's been brilliant.
I think we can all say then that apprenticeship was probably the best thing you ever did.
Yeah.
Perfect. Can we just have a big round of applause for our Yans? They spend their free time volunteering to help people and help you understand more about apprenticeships. And that will come to our end of it. It's been the quickest half an hour ever. I don't know what it's been like for you.
It's absolutely flown by, but it has been amazing. So, as I said, want to thank the Yans just for being here and obviously helping us out today and the experience that they've had. Again, a massive thank you to everyone at the Cedars Academy, to the students and staff for letting us host.
Give yourselves a round of applause, because we really do appreciate taking over your school this morning and grabbing you out of those lessons. Just a very quick message as well. I've just been told we're going to keep the live chat open just a little bit longer because we've been inundated with questions. We want to answer as many as we can. A big thank you once again to WorkPays, the East Midlands Ambassador Network, and everyone involved behind the scenes, getting everyone involved in here today to give you, the Big Assembly 2019.
Yes. And whatever you decide to do next, we wish you all the best of luck. And who knows, it could be you holding the Big Assembly this time next year.
Just like you.
Yes, thank you very much, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.